In today's episode, we are talking about a mindset that can help us get back up every time we fall down. Because let me tell you something. In life, there will be times where you will fall down. And if you don't have the right mindset to be able to pick yourself up, you might just stay down for good. So what we are talking about is the warrior mindset. Specifically, we are talking about this concept from the book called Fall 7 Times, Rise 8, written by John Godina. It is an amazing read. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend that you do because it's going to inspire you to get up every single time you fall down. So without further ado, let us talk about the 7 principles of falling 7 times and rising 8. The first one is to be fearless. Now, being fearless does not mean you won't be scared or you won't be afraid. What it means is that your fear does not control you. You control your fear. The difference between a scared and a fearless person is someone who's scared lets their fear control them, and a fearless person controls their fear. Let's look at some examples. A scared person would be someone who has the ability to start a business, but doesn't because they're scared of failing. They're scared of what people would say, so they don't take any action. A scared person would be someone who has the ability to talk to the girl or talk to the guy that they like, but they don't because they're scared of getting rejected. A scared person would be someone who wants to change careers, but is so scared of starting over that they decide to stick with the career they are currently in, even though it doesn't make them happy. Now, a fearless person, on the other hand, is someone who decides to start a business despite the risk of failing because they know that failure is just another excuse to learn and grow. A fearless person is someone who goes and talks to the girl or the guy that they like despite the fear of getting rejected, because they know that rejection is just another excuse to keep moving forward. A fearless person is someone who changes careers despite the risk of starting over because they know that their happiness is worth it. So what I want you to think about is, are you going to let your fears control you, or are you gone? Nah, be in control of your fears. Are you going to be fearless? The second principle is being determined. Look, determination is what makes the impossible possible. I want you to look at the word determine. Determine is made up of 2 separate words, D and term. D simply means away, and term means to turn. When you put those 2 together, you get determine, which means to turn away from whatever you're doing. So when you're determined, you turn away from everything else, and you focus all your attention to the thing that you're retrying to achieve. So this is why determined people are able to achieve extraordinary things. This is why they are able to push through when no one else can. Now, the problem is that most people lack determination. Most people don't know what it takes to be determined. So what I want you to do is think of a goal that you want to achieve. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to imagine yourself already having achieved that goal. Imagine how it feels. Imagine the satisfaction, the happiness, the sense of achievement that you will feel. And then I want you to imagine the alternative. Imagine the kind of life that you would live if you don't achieve that goal. Imagine how it would feel to know that you didn't even try, or worse, you gave up along the way. So now that you have that clarity, the next time you feel like giving up, the next time you feel like quitting, I want you to remember that vision, that mental image that you created for yourself. I promise you, you will not give up. You will not quit. The third principle is perseverance. Perseverance is simply the ability to keep going despite the obstacles and the challenges that you face. This is why you often hear people say, obstacles don't block the path, they are the path. And this is what separates successful people from non-successful people, the ability to persevere. You see, successful people are not immune to obstacles and challenges. In fact, they face more than the average person, because the higher you climb, the more enemies you make. So what you have to understand is that everyone faces obstacles and everyone faces challenges. What separates the winners from the losers is their ability to persevere, their ability to keep going despite the pain, despite the suffering, despite the difficulties that they face. So when the going gets tough, what will you do? Will you persevere or will you give up? Principle no. 4 is self-awareness. Self-awareness is essentially the ability to know yourself, to be aware of your strengths and weaknesses. Without self-awareness, you're basically just wandering around as a zombie. You're not living life on your terms. Instead, you're living life based on the opinions and the expectations of others. So this is why self-awareness is crucial, because it allows you to identify what your strengths are so you can play to your strengths. But also, it allows you to identify your weaknesses so you can work on them. And if there are any weaknesses that you cannot improve upon, then you can outsource them. So the question I want you to ask yourself is, am I self-aware? Do I know my strengths? Do I know my weaknesses? Or am I just living on autopilot? The fifth principle is discipline. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even if you do and feel like doing it. See, here's the thing. Motivation is great, but it's unreliable because sometimes you're going to be motivated and sometimes you're not. So what you need is a system, a set of rules and guidelines that you follow every single day, regardless of whether you feel like doing it or not. This is why they say that discipline is doing what needs to be done, even if you do and feel like doing it. But here's the thing. Discipline actually comes from the word disciple. Disciple means a student. It means a learner. So when you think of a student or a learner, what do? They follow instructions. They follow guidelines. They follow rules. That's what they do. This is why discipline is essentially doing what needs to be done, even if you do and feel like doing it. But the key is to find a way to enjoy the process. Find a way to enjoy being disciplined. Find a way to enjoy the journey, because at the end of the day, that's all we have. The sixth principle is to be adaptable. The world we live in today is constantly changing. Things that worked 10 years ago might not work today, and things that work today might not work 10 years from now. So it's important to be adaptable, to be flexible, and to be able to adjust your mindset and your habits accordingly. And this is why they say that the only constant in life is change itself. And this is why we should be embracing change rather than resisting it, because resistance is futile. Change is going to happen with or without you. So what we should be focusing on is how we respond to change. How do we adapt to it? How do we adjust to it? And that is what's going to make the difference. And the final principle is resilience. Resilience is simply the ability to bounce back after facing a setback or a challenge. This is why they say that the obstacle is the path and that S, because when you face an obstacle, when you face a challenge, you have the opportunity to bounce back in an even bigger and better way. You see, here's the thing. Life is not fair. Sometimes things will not go your way. Sometimes you will face setbacks and challenges that are completely out of your control. And in those moments, what will you do? Will you wallow in self-pity? Or will you pick yourself up and move on? The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is their ability to be resilient. Their ability to pick themselves up and move on despite the pain, despite the suffering, despite the difficulties that they face. So these are the 7 principles of falling 7 times and rising 8. Remember, in life there will be times where you fall down. But it's up to you to decide whether you're going to stay down or whether you're going to rise up. Now, if you liked this video, please make sure to leave us a thumbs up. We truly appreciate it. Thanks for watching.